climate change is no longer a distant threat, but has moved firmly into the present.
We support the initiative for net zero emission by 2050, and we set our own commitment on reducing emission by 50% by 2030.
For the past decades, we have been talking a lot.
Club of Rome 50 years ago said everything that we are saying today.
93% of Europeans think that climate change is a big problem.
However, the only thing that was changing throughout those decades was the climate and not so much politics. The time to act is now.
If we show the way by taking the right decision in Europe and tell the Chinese, look, we are doing our job, why don't you do yours? I think that it can be a game changer in the fight against global warming.
We need to be the world leaders. We need to show it.
We absolutely have to, but we also have to see that the political conditions are the right ones.
Everyone is looking at Europe for this moral compass, for this soft power. And I think that is something that collectively we need to continue to support.
When we're together striking, then I feel how the politicians shiver and how they know we've really got an influence, and we are the ones who are voting in a couple of years or who are already voting now.
I like what you were saying, that politicians start to shiver when you talk to them. They never do when we talk to them.
The problem is greed, power, and arrogance. And I think we need to stop the blame game.
We are inventing new technologies. We're inventing new models of saving emissions. We got into a partnership with one of the heat distributors for Hamburg. We'll save 140,000 tons of CO2 per year.
You've done a lot, that's true. And especially certain businesses have done their steps, and that's very good. But on the whole level, on the European level, that was just not enough.
I eat less meat, I avoid waste.
I try to eat as much biological food and food produced in the region.
I try to avoid flying, I don't eat meat. There are a lot of things that you can do, but I think the most important thing that I do is that I try to actually influence politics and that I go out on the streets and demonstrate.
It's probably today the missing link between the understanding that we have to do and the question how to do that. If I'm on an investor's call, if I listen what investors are asking us, they're not asking about sustainability, they're not asking about our CO2 footprint, they're asking other things.
It's a question of a system. You have to create an incentive for everybody to behave in a way to reduce their emission of carbon. It's very simple. You have to put a price of carbon and increase it.
The coal energy sector wouldn't be profitable anymore. Yep. And on the other hand, we would need a lot of subsidies in the renewable energy sector to actually increase their capacity. That would really boost, in my opinion, the European economy. The same goes with gas.
Can I get a quick show of hands, please? How many people in this room warm their house or heat their house with water using gas? So you guys may need to think about your bills doubling or trebling. Hashtag just saying.
We all can cope with regulations. We welcome regulations as long as we are talking level playing field.
We must create a market that is no longer perversely helping those things that are killing our planet.
The best way to have results is to make the people responsible for what they are doing.
How we make sure that we have a society that's equipped to transition and that people don't lose out.
This fits really well in together with what has already been said about a positive vision for climate protection and for climate action, because climate protection will boost jobs.
I think most businesses realize that unless they change, unless they make change, they won't ensure the long-term survival of their company and their corporation.
It's not only elder and younger people, it's also business and politics and NGOs, activists. We should all get our forces together. This is the only way we will be able to tackle all those problems we have.
Changing is always a very long process. To change laws, to change technology, and to change our behavior.
It's good to see that the idea of a climate change policy in the corner of a room is not any more valid. Climate change policy is, as the repeating and quoting the German minister, all the ministers need to be a climate minister.
The crucial point where we've got a lag is political will.
We have to elect the leaders that we want to see also rule and bring the leadership. And we have to be the leaders as citizens, as business leaders, as policy leaders that make a difference and are ambitious. There's a total disconnect between real leadership and the way it was in the past and the way it is today.